concept to system. And I think that will be interesting to try to implement, because I think that's where they kind of get lost, is how you connect the dots between those things.
In Finland, they base everything on the 4 game playing rules. So that's how you organize everything. And that's kind of what I do too. So there's offense, you either have the puck or you're supporting the puck. So that's 2 of the roles. And on defense, you're either checking the puck carrier or you're covering away from the puck. So that's the other 2 roles. And there's 3 situations: offense, defense, and then loose puck. You have to work on loose puck situations. So everything they do is organized in those 4 roles and those 3 game situations. And then you have the progressions like you're talking about. So what you'd be talking about is team offensive skills and putting sequences together, about the breakout. But of course, you also need the individual offensive skills of taking a pass and making a pass and all this kind of stuff. So, it's got to be all sequenced together. And that's really the challenge of teaching anything is, if you've got a big hole in development, you're not going to be able to do the breakout anyway.
Going back to your original thing about trigonometry, a lot of bench coaches at the younger age go right to a breakout drill. And yet, if the puck carrier behind the net isn't got the skills to make a good pass to the wall or to the center, if that pass doesn't get made, nothing happens. And so, and a lot of that's just pure skating skill and then puck handling skills. And I found over the years, I spent probably a little more time than most on skating with and without the puck, and then teaching them just enough things so they can be successful in those sequences. Because what's a breakout? It's basically it's 2 passes and skating, and then of course situational awareness of which way you're going to go with it, which starts with the defenseman. I always thought defensemen were the most important. After the goalie, defensemen really dictate how the game's going to go, especially coming out of their own zone and the decisions that they make. And too often they just throw the puck to the wall and say, it's your problem now. And so as a bench coach for 50 years, and not having enough practice ever, where do you focus your time and your energy? That's really the question. And now kids play. We used to play 35 or 40 games. Now the kids play 65 or 70 and practice 20 times in a season. So it's hard to help them get better. And then they go off to their skills camps in the summer, and hopefully they're picking up some of those skills that they need. But I like your idea there, Kim, with how do we put those 2 together and teach them things in practice so they can immediately take to the game scenario. And that's, I think it's a challenge. It's an interesting challenge. It's fun. When I was working with the kids this last year, the girls switched back over to the boys' side because I didn't get a girls' job this year. But we would work on stuff in practice, and they'd come off the ice and say, "Did you see that? Did you see that, coach?" And you're like, "Yeah, that was cool." Whether it was a big 90 or a Gretzky move or whatever, something we've been working on. So the girls think about it more. I don't know that the boys do yet. I don't know that thinking about things at 17 is high on their list. But anyways.
Well, I think it's interesting, like the breakout's a perfect example, right? And this is where, you got to think about skills that are appropriate for the level and that bring up, because like I watched a whole lot of U11 games this year, and I don't think there were passes ever made on the breakout. It was a girl gets possession, beats someone and skates it out. And to be quite honest, that is the most valuable skill we could teach those kids on the breakout at that age. That is, a skill that will serve them well going forward, right? If we could then teach them how to do a better retrieval of the puck, if we could then teach them, how to support that puck, to your point, Tom, like having that support player who doesn't have the puck instead of just watching, and then maybe making that 10-foot, 20-foot, 30-foot pass. But that's the challenge for those bench coaches who are watching the Leafs or other better hockey teams break out. They go, well, that's what a breakout is. It's like, yes, that is a 25-year-old man who's been playing hockey since for 20 years. Your players can't do that. And understanding that, like a U11 kid is not making a hard cross-ice pass to the weak side on the break. Like it's just, but when you watch them practice, the understanding of that's inappropriate for the level that, you know, meeting them where they are. They don't understand how do I, like, what are the skills that will eventually get them there one day, right? Yep. So, you know, I think that's, you know, to Tom's point about curriculum and you know, how do you make it age appropriate, but then also don't assume that, like, I work with a bunch of U15 teams this year, and I would say the majority of those D have not skated the puck out on their own in years because they've been told, well, in the breakout, you stop behind the net or you go to the half wall. Yeah. Like, why would we pass it if we could just carry it out clean? I'm not saying turn it over with a toe drag.
It'd be fun to coach against those teams.
If you possess the skill to skate it out, why would you not want them to skate it out? It's the least, you know, scary play, I guess. You know, it doesn't necessarily advance the puck as quickly, but a lot of those players, those girls have been taught that a breakout means you pass here or here, where your first option might just to be to go. And so they, you know, I don't know at what point that got de-emphasized or whether it's ever been emphasized. I got to go plug in my computer, guys, so I'm going to crash here if I don't do that. So give me a second.
Morning, Tim.
Yeah, I think that on what Kim's talking about, when you've got the puck, you have 5 options, right?
Yep.
Basically, you carry it out or you pass to one of the other 4 players, and the puck's got to go to, you know, you have to make the choice of the best play at that time. That's what hockey's all about. So you can't just say take it out because maybe someone has a good angle on you. You know, you're going to turn it over. So, you know, so there's always 5 options, and that's a hard thing. Like I watch my grandson all through the elite hockey that he played, and the passes that I saw were breakouts. Like most of the teams could break out, you know, they make those passes. But as soon as they got to the neutral zone, only the good players made the plays. Other guys just carry it forever until they have no options, and then they kind of try to make a play, but the play was there before. People have to stop at the blue line for them. Nothing drives you more crazy. You're wide open, someone doesn't give you the puck, then you got to stop there. And they cross the blue line with it. And that seems to be, to me, the hardest part of the game to, you know, we've really emphasized individual skills, but playing together and, you know, that seems to be the challenge.
So does that take us back to this whole, you know, there's 2 trades, you know, schools of thought. We can teach all kids to do this. The reality is we can't, because they don't all have the rink awareness. They don't have the processing ability. They don't have the ability to see the game that's happening right in front of them, and they don't recognize. And then I think in today's world, they also want recognition all the time. They don't like to share the puck very much, but that's a different sort of channel. But of all the kids that I've coached through the years, you know, every team's got 2 or 3 kids that are way better than the rest of them. Maybe if you're lucky, you get 5 or 6. But, you know, they don't skate a whole lot better. They don't shoot a whole lot better, but they play the game a lot better because they have an innate understanding of the game, common reoccurring situations and kind of where to move, how to work together. And I don't know, I mean, if we could teach them all, the NHL would have 100 teams.
Yeah, but I think we can make them better by doing things like, you know, you do things like a 2-second game where you have to move the puck, and then that forces the teammate to get open, and it forces, you know, the player with the puck to look and those kind of things. At least it makes them aware that there are other people on the ice, and the other people on the ice, there's they know they have to get open, so we can do stuff to make them better. And I agree with you. There's just some people that just have it. Like people say, oh, the players now are way better. If the guys that played before, it would be probably exactly same guys that make it.
Yeah.
Because they're the better athletes. They just be more fit because they'd be doing that kind of stuff. Like
so just trying to make every kid a little bit better, and hopefully, put in some, like you say, I like the 2-second game, or with that thing we were talking about. You gotta. I don't know, was Kim talking about it, or that scrimmage at the beginning? You have to advance the puck. Can't just take it and a lot of things to sort of force them to make make decisions, and a lot of the cross ice games do that really well too.
Well, yeah, and that's what if you do a drill, you tell everybody exactly what to do. That's fine, they can do that, but there's not a whole lot of thinking involved, and that's why drills have to be modified. That there's some more thinking and all that. Like when I go play, I play in an hour and 20 minutes. And I think this NHL guy will be there. He played in the NHL for 15 years and coached.
Yeah.
And like as far as the basic skills are, he's not that much better than guys that played college and all that.
Yeah.
But the things he does, you can't give him a bad pass.
Yeah.
If he can touch it,
everything. Yeah, he catches everything.
Gets it. And he's a guy I told you about that takes passes with one hand all the time. He played with Gordie Howe. Gordie said that's a better way to do it. So he takes a pass and he's got his other arm out, creating space. He creates a little bubble around himself that you can't get that puck. And then he just does things that are better. And then another guy might be there that was a defenseman in the NHL for quite a while, and he's an incredible skater. But if you don't make a fake before you pass, it's like you're passing to him. He reads where your options are, and you pass the puck, and it's right on his stick. You say, what the hell? So you have to make some kind of a fake to make him lean and then pass, or he's going to intercept. And that's kind of the difference between, the guys that made it to the show.
Yeah, it's just a little but really super important things. It's all great.
I was going to add just a little tidbit, and then I got to run. When we did this coaches scrimmage with the skills instructors, the one thing that stood out with Caro, and she wasn't going full speed, is that anytime anyone on the other team touched the puck, she stole it from them. Like she would read where it was going, and that person would be like all excited that they would get it, and then she'd just steal it and go the other way, right? Like mostly in the neutral zone or like on the breakouts, but it was like she just was like this ghost who would appear, and all of a sudden you didn't have the puck anymore. But I watched her do that, at much higher levels for many years. But it was interesting to see these 25-year-old guys jumping up the ice thinking they were going to be getting a breakaway, and then all of a sudden the puck was gone and she was going the other way. But I appreciate you guys listening to me blabber on about the skills stuff. And once I get all the materials, if it's in a format that I think it's easy to share, I'm happy to share. Especially the GoPro 360 stuff. I'll be interested to see how they edit that or don't edit that. But